My parents have always favored my sister, Sarah. Now, given a second chance at life, I'm done competing. Sarah wants my scholarship to Stanford? She can have it. Sarah wants my research project? It's hers. Sarah wants my boyfriend, Jason? He's all yours, sis. This time around, I just want a peaceful life, focused on myself. Being me, I don't regret it one bit. 1 inch Ashley, you know about your sister's health. She can't pull all-nighters studying like you. She can't get into a good college through the regular admissions process. So, about that scholarship, Dad's voice cracked. Mom glared at me, silently urging him on. He finally choked out the rest of the sentence. Could you give it to Sarah? It sounded like a question, but it was a command, delivered without a shred of guilt. I stared at my dad, his hair not yet gray, the memory of falling from that building flashing before my eyes. It took a moment to realize I was reborn. Back to 17, back to a time when I could change everything. Mom's face hardened when I didn't respond immediately. Ashley, she scolded, you're smart and capable, unlike your sister. Whether you want to or not, you have to give her the scholarship. Last time, Mom said the exact same thing. I was furious, refusing to give up what I'd earned. But in the end, the scholarship was already Sarah's, thanks to my parents' maneuvering. They didn't even tell me it was a done deal, letting me goof off for months, missing the regular application deadlines entirely. My dream school slipped away. When I confronted them, do you know what they said? They said, just take a gap year, what's the big deal? One dismissive sentence cost me another year of grueling study. I finally got into college, only to face another crisis. Sarah was failing and about to be expelled. My parents wanted me to hand over my research project to save her. I refused. They pulled strings, flashed cash. I cried. I screamed. But I ended up with insufficient credits, expelled. Back then, I didn't understand that things you can give away weren't truly yours to begin with. The scholarship, the research project. But the things that are yours, you can't give away, no matter how hard you try. Like my knowledge, the information etched in my brain. I met my parents' gaze. Okay, I said steadily. I'll give it to her. Mom's eyebrows shot up, surprised by my easy surrender. Dad let out a relieved sigh. Ashley, we're so proud of you for being so understanding. He handed me a gift. The Lego Star Destroyer I'd always wanted. Huge, enough to fill my room. Last time, that Star Destroyer was in Sarah's room. Too, I went through the motions. School, homework, reviewing material I already knew by heart. When I got tired, I'd work on the Lego set. Some weekends, I'd spend hours on a single section. Finally, 6 months later, the Star Destroyer was complete. I barely had time to admire it before Sarah shattered it. She discovered the finished model in my room and invited her friends over to see it. Wanting to show it off, she tried to carry the massive thing to the living room, despite her supposed fragility. It crashed to the floor, a plastic explosion. She scraped her forehead in the process. Tears streaming, she apologized. Promised she'd put it back together. Okay, I said. She started gathering the pieces. Some scratched her feet. Others hid in crevices, covering her in dust. Mom saw her disheveled state and pointed a finger at me. It's just a toy. Ashley, does your sister have to crawl around like a dog looking for pieces? Can't you show some consideration for her health? She seemed to have forgotten that Sarah offered to fix it. She also forgot that I'd spent months crawling around like a dog to build it in the first place. But it didn't matter. I'd never expected anything from Mom. No expectations, no disappointments. I looked at Sarah, tears still welling in her eyes. I do understand you're delicate, I said. So, don't bother. Sarah shook her head, body trembling. No, I broke it. I have to fix it. I couldn't help but let out a small, bitter laugh. But if you're hurt, Mom and Dad will be upset. They'll think I was being inconsiderate, that I was bullying you. Sarah, do you want to help me, or do you want me to get yelled at? Sarah froze. Mom, too. I spoke calmly. This Star Destroyer, it wasn't really mine, was it? I took it, Sarah's toy. That's why she tried to move it without asking. I was being selfish. Dad was just being nice, and I took something that wasn't mine. Mom, Sarah, don't worry. It won't happen again. I'll know my place from now on. Mom and Sarah were speechless, mouths open slightly, unable to form words. I didn't want to waste any more time. I went back to my desk, put on my headphones, listened to English lessons. The sounds filled my mind, blocking everything else out. All that mattered was studying. I could buy my own Legos later. The SATs arrived. I scored a solid 1500, no sweat. My parents, seeing my score, suggested I apply to the same college as Sarah. The implication was clear. They wanted me to help her graduate. Last time, I fought them. It was pointless. Even though I guarded my application like a hawk, they managed to change my choice at the last minute. Dad was a software engineer. I was no match for him in that arena. So, this time, I agreed. I wasn't strong enough to fight. Dad, perhaps feeling a twinge of guilt, gave me a debit card. $3000. He told me not to tell Mom or Sarah, to buy something nice for myself. But Dad, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, freshman year, winter break. Sarah had already blown through her travel money. I changed my train ticket to a standing room only car, figuring we'd travel home together. Sarah refused. She hated the smell, the crowds. She stayed on campus. Lied to her parents, claiming her professor had asked her to stay for a special project. My high and mighty sister. No skills, all ego. She didn't want her parents to think she was useless and irresponsible. She didn't want her friends to know she was broke. So she pretended, and her charade ended up punishing me. She spent 5 days washing dishes at a diner, earning enough for a train ticket home. But those 5 days cost her the chance to buy a ticket during peak booking season. By the time she realized, it was New Year's Eve. She called home, sobbing. It's so cold. They turned off the heat and water in the dorms. Mom, Dad, I'm scared. My parents finally understood. They called me, demanding an explanation. I told them the truth. This time, Dad exploded. He slapped me across the face. 5 fingers imprinted on my cheek, the pain blurring my vision. Even Mom was shocked. He raised his hand again, but Mom stopped him. What are you doing? She cried. Sarah's always been sensitive. Dad yelled. Ashley knew that. She bought her a standing room only ticket on purpose. She wanted her to stay behind. That's your sister. Why couldn't you just buy her a proper ticket? I gave a weak smile. If I bought her a ticket, I couldn't come home myself. I gave you $3,000 for emergencies, he roared. How could you not have enough? I looked at Mom. Her face was grim. As Dad continued ranting, she finally spoke. Ashley gave me that money, she said quietly. She didn't have any left. Dad's jaw dropped. He already hit me, yelled at me. He couldn't back down now. His next words were less confident. Even without that money, she gets $250 a month for expenses. A train ticket is only a few $100s. She's just being spiteful. She didn't want her sister to come home. I didn't answer, just kept looking at Mom, a small smile playing on my lips. Mom sighed. Enough, she said, even quieter. Ashley didn't have the money for, how could she not have the money? She gets $250 a month. A train ticket is only a few $100s. No, Ashley doesn't get that much. Are you senile? Both girls get $250 a month. No, Ashley gets $50. Yes, my monthly allowance was $50. This life, and the last. The difference was, last time, Mom forced it on me. This time, I asked for it. Back in September, I given Mom Dad's $3,000. Sarah's health is delicate, I'd said. She probably needs more money than me. I can manage on $50 a month. Give the rest to Sarah. Mom was surprised, but she'd readily agreed, praising my maturity. After all, she didn't have to come up with another excuse to berate me and take my money for Sarah. A train ticket home cost $500. I'd saved for a whole semester just to get home. But in the end, I was the only one who made it. Home to Sarah's home. This wasn't my home. Mom stared at the floor, avoiding my gaze. Dad's lips were pressed into a thin line. He knew he was wrong, but he wouldn't apologize. In this family, only outsiders needed to apologize. I looked at Dad, still smiling. I'm sorry, Dad, I said. Next time this happens, I'll give Sarah all my money for her ticket, because whether I came home or not, no one cared. I turned to go to my room. Ashley, Mom said, her voice laced with blame. If you'd told us about Sarah sooner, your father wouldn't have misunderstood. You wouldn't have been hit. This is your own fault. You can't blame your father, or your sister, or me. I stopped. A bitter taste filled my throat, just as I expected. But thankfully, I was prepared. I turned back, pulled out my phone, played a recording from a few days earlier. My voice, clear and crisp, filled the room. Mom, Dad, Sarah's stuck because she doesn't have money for a ticket, not because of some project. Tickets are selling out fast. You should buy her one now, or she might not get home at all. Then, my parents' mocking laughter. Mom's voice, honestly, Ashley, are you jealous of your sister? Are you envious that she's working on a project? Dad's voice, Sarah just sent me a picture of her holding her train ticket. Stop making trouble. Why don't you spend more time studying so you can get picked for a project yourself? Then, they'd spend several minutes praising Sarah. Even when I tried to speak, they cut me off, accusing me of having ulterior motives. The recording ended. My parents were pale, their lips trembling. They had nothing to say, no way to shift the blame onto me. I went to my room, curled up under the covers. In the middle of the night, I heard the rumble of suitcases. My parents tiptoed out the door. When I woke up, there was a note from Mom on the table. Ashley, Dad, and I had to go out of town. Take care of yourself. I stared at the note, then opened the empty fridge, a chill settling in my stomach. This was going to be a long few days. I knew where they were going. Tickets from home were easy to get. They showed up at Sarah's dorm the next morning with a cake, a surprise visit. Sarah posted it all on Instagram. Not my birthday, she wrote, but any excuse for cake with the fam. Happy New Year. Strawberry cake. Sarah's favorite. Mine, too. But I wouldn't be getting any this year. It didn't matter. I could buy my own later. 5. Sophomore year. Sarah was failing so many classes she was facing expulsion. My parents rushed to the college, pulling strings. They learned that a research project could save her, guarantee her graduation, and I had a research project. Their eyes turned to me once again. Ashley, Dad said, all pretense of guilt gone. Your sister needs this project to graduate. You should let her have it. Mom said nothing, her eyes devoid of any warmth. Ever since I played that recording, exposed their hypocrisy, they dropped the act. It was better this way. No more moral posturing. No more being cast as the villain. They were finally being honest. Their favoritism towards Sarah was the real evil all along. Now, their demands were blunt. Just like the fact that I hadn't received a phone call, a visit, or a dime of allowance in over a year. Okay, I said. Sarah can have the project. I handed over the completed research paper. My parents gave it straight to Sarah. That night, another Instagram post, another picture of Sarah with Mom and Dad.